Good evening, everybody. Welcome to 1925, the New York Giants podcast. This is our debut episode. My name is Tom Scavetta. Thank you, one and all, for joining us this evening. This is a transition from the Big Blue Avenue show. Really excited to start this show and basically explain to you what it is. A little bit of background on me. I've hosted the Big Blue Avenue show for the past 6 years since fall of 2020. We've had several awesome guests throughout that time. I am transitioning now to a 3-person show with 2 good buddies of mine in George Bristol and Nick Godin. You can check us out on all of our social media handles on Instagram at 1925 The New York Giants Podcast and Facebook at 1925 The New York Giants Podcast, or our YouTube channel at 1925 Podcast Big Blue. So welcome, everybody. If you are new and you are watching for the first time, please leave a like on our video. It helps with the Facebook algorithm. Make sure to share this video as well, whether it's on Facebook or YouTube. Tell a friend, tell a couple friends maybe. And we appreciate all of your love and support. Also, if you have a comment, feel free to drop that in the comment section below. All right. We're going to get a little unhinged here. We're going to introduce our 2 co-hosts, George Bristol.
What's up?
Godin, I must have missed the memo. Welcome.
You didn't see the text?
I did not. No.
That's our first show. We got to wear suits, man. We got to wear suits. You always got to suit up. George.
Wait, I don't have to wear this?
No, you do.
It's for my wedding.
God bless Tata.
I know. What's up, Tom?
How
you doing? Good.
How you doing, Tom? How you doing, man?
Good. So let's dive into it. Let's explain the purpose of the show. Get to know us a little bit before we dive into all things New York Giants. So, George, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what the purpose of this show is.
40-year-old, happily married male. I enjoy walks on the beach and the New York Football Giants. Been a fan since I'm 4 years old. I don't really know how to do math, but it's a pretty long time. Pretty good years and some painful ones recently.
That's George for you. Nick, what about you? Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, the pain you've gone through going to all these Giants games during these dark times.
Well, yeah, for me, it's been a long, painful run as of late. Similar to George, I'm 40 years old, even though I look much younger.
He does.
Yeah, he's 40. Anywho, I've had some great times cheering at the TV. I've also had times where I'm screaming in pain and agony, like when Kadarius Toney tries to punch somebody in the face while the guy's wearing a helmet. So, yeah, we've had good years and bad years. I'm hoping for some good years again coming up.
Love the shirt. You guys said you're both 40. I'm 30. So that should be fun. We get a little bit of 90s talk, early 2000s. You guys know a little bit about the 80s as well. And make a toast, guys. You got your drinks?
Absolutely.
Little cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Let's have some fun.
Number 1.
Number 6.
How do we want to start? I mean, there's a lot to talk about, right? I mean, obviously, sir, on what was it? Wednesday or Tuesday? Yeah, it was Tuesday. And he's our new head coach. What a time to be a Giants fan. I don't know about you guys. I love that. I mean, it felt different, man. It really felt different.
He was the best guy available by a long shot. Kind of reminds me of when we enlisted Tom Coughlin. Similar thing. The Giants were in a little bit of disarray. He came through. He was going to be the guy that was going to straighten everything out, even though a lot of the leadership in the locker room didn't like that at first. And we're probably going to run into that again from the sounds of it.
Yeah, man, I agree. I think just watching the presser alone, he commands a room. I didn't really, to be honest with you, I was excited, but I didn't really know. You see $100 million contract, you're like, is it here for the money? But he shows up, and him speaking made me believe instantly. I'm excited for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, he had a message, which was nice. I mean, I feel like Dable was just like, "Where's the buffet?" And then everything else fell into place. Harbaugh came in and was like, "Nope, this place obviously sucks. I'm going to make it not suck so much, and that's my job. And you're going to be proud of this team." I love that he spoke to the fans. I haven't been spoken to from a coach in a very long time. That was refreshing. But you know, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. Sometimes we'll see how this goes.
Shout out to my pops. First comment. What's up, Dad? All the way down in sunny Florida. Well, we're suffering through this cold winter. I say that living in New York City. You guys are up north a little bit. So
Yeah, it was 5 below the other day, Tom. So respectfully, fuck off. It's freezing.
It's very cold.
yeah, I could only imagine. Well, George, you're a transplant. You're really from down here.
Yeah, that's true, but it's still cold. I mean, I just got in from splitting wood a couple minutes ago, and I'm tired. But I didn't split wood.
You bought that wood. Let's be
I sure
real.
did. I get the Stewart's bag, $5.99.
Tom, do you know what Stewart's is?
No, tell me about this.
Stewart's is just a chain of gas stations all throughout the Northeast.
Wait a minute. I think my brother.
Oh,
took me
Danny
there.
loves them. Danny
Yeah.
loves them.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, George and my brother Danny were best friends growing up. I mean, they still are. They're tight. They're very close. So, shout out Danny if you're watching. I know he goes to sleep pretty early, but you know,
Not the Danny I remember.
you guys used to do some fun stuff. You guys used to
Anyway.
do some interesting stuff.
We sure did. And back to the Giants.
Yes. What are our expectations, guys? I mean, we know Harbaugh's resume. He's won a Super Bowl. He is a proven winner. You guys both mentioned how he commands a room. I got to watch this presser live, and I kind of want to get your thoughts on this because I wasn't sure where you guys were thinking when you watched it. His dad, Jack Harbaugh, who's still alive, by the way, excellent shape in his mid-80s, taught him to call them the New York Football Giants. For those of you who are Giants fans and may not know the reasoning behind that, or if you're not a Giants fan watching and want to know the reasoning of that, George, why don't you explain a little bit about what that meaning is?
It was to differentiate between the New York baseball Giants and the Polo Grounds, correct?
Mm-hmm. Who are now
the New
the
York San Francisco Giants.
Giants.
Right. It was the New York Football Giants, and it kind of stuck. I actually am fond of the term myself. I say it all the time, and my non-Giants friends always make fun of me, but
Yeah, no, I thought the coolest part of the whole press conference to me, aside from him just being very charismatic, very just a born leader, was the how he kept referencing his family. He's very family oriented. He mentions his wife, keeps talking about his dad. He's talking to his dad during the press conference. He just seemed, honestly, he seemed very down to earth and just very powerful. Just like I said, commands a room.
George, you want to take this one? Old school rules the way to be, right?
I just saw him a couple months ago. He looked pretty young to me on the dance floor. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Even though he's a Jets fan, as we all know.
God,
that's me and George.
That's more. That's even more depressing.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, God bless you, sir.
But
Yeah,
with
I don't know how
Harbaugh,
you do that.
I don't know how I do it either, but he understands that the fans are hungry for wins. I mean, the similarities to Tom Coughlin are telling. And by the way, we got to give Tom Coughlin a massive salute for the effort he put into helping recruit this guy, essentially, to be the head coach of the Giants. You know, this is a guy who has won 193 games. He's learned a lot from Andy Reid, who was more successful in his second act with the Chiefs than he was in his first act with Philadelphia. And for Harbaugh, hopefully he can get one or two here. We'll see. I mean, I would just love one. Honestly, it's been quite some time.
Let's not get crazy. I'm happy for relevance. Okay, cultural relevance, NFL relevance. I'm not even thinking about Super Bowls. I didn't really think about Super Bowls with Coughlin either. I was just happy that the team was moving in the right direction and it was steady. I'm I can't even think of Super Bowls right now. The team is so terrible the last 12 years. I just want a team that shows up, competes, actually is a team where I can invest a full Sunday in watching a complete football game versus most of the time halfway through it, hoping to go do a chore with my wife somewhere because this game sucks and I don't want to watch it anymore.
I don't know. We looked pretty good week 17 when we beat the third string Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, we looked great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
We were
but
phenomenal.
why do we think this way, right? Why do we think this way, George? Because of what's happened over the past decade and a half? Are you like just at that point where I don't expect anything anymore? I feel nothing when this team loses? Because sometimes I feel that way too. But I mean, Harbaugh's the real deal, man. I would not downplay this at all. I think this has a chance to be really, really good. I mean, he's already been making moves, man. We saw Kevin Abrams is out after 27 years, whatever it is. I mean, this is a massive culture changer. Like, this is not just, oh, here we go again with another new head coach. This is a potential franchise-altering move. Like, the trajectory of this franchise is going to change. Whether it leads to a Lombardi, that's left to be seen. But you cannot state how important John Harbaugh is as a person, not just as a coach, as a person. This figure loves football. And if you're, a big Giants fan and you're just happy to be there, get the hell out. That's his message. That's his immediate message. And you're already seeing dominoes fall into place.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, my real fear is just, I've seen these culture changes before, and I'm willing to bet money he's going to bring some Baltimore Ravens influence staff in, whether it's on-field players or coaches. And I just hope that our homegrown guys are receptive to that and not fighting that, because now we're going to have that little rift between the two ideologies. Mind you, the Giants players should honestly shut the hell up and listen, because that team has been relevant. Harbaugh's relevant, obviously. Was he got like a 618, 619 win percentage? So, I mean, they should really just shut up and listen. This guy has evidently done well in this league, and I think he's pretty strict. He didn't really have the best relationship with Lamar Jackson, so hopefully that doesn't also transition into Jackson Dart. But other than that, I'm pretty excited. I mean, I'm to the point now where I don't want to be overly excited, because I don't want to be let down right away and they go 0-4 and I'm like, motherfucker, this fucking
Here we go again.
I fell for it again. They got me again.
You must. No, I mean, I couldn't agree more. The only thing that it feels different now, and not just because of John Harbaugh. I mean, we've got Jackson Dart, we've got Cam Scatterbo, we've got a lot of defensive players who should have done more last year.
You're just going to shit on Malik Neighbors right there? You're not going to mention Malik Neighbors? No big
He's
deal.
hurt a lot. He's hurt a lot. I also Malik Neighbors. We got a lot of players, and I think for the first time we've got the players and hopefully the coaching staff, which I think John Harbaugh is going to come in and just completely change the culture, which he seems to already be doing. Like you said, he's cleaning house. If you don't want to be there, get the fuck out. It's pretty simple.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I mean, we don't want to be sitting at a tailgate again in November where we're 2-6. Like, yeah, the season's over. There's no shot. There's no shot.
Or the season's over by October. You're like, all right.
If your season's over in the Meadowlands and you don't need a jacket on, it's not going well. You're in shorts and a T-shirt and you're enjoying a beverage with your good, close friends and family. And the reality is you're already checked out of the game before you even got your ticket punched. It's rough.
Well, I have to say this, Nick. I don't think you and your kids will be going through that pain again of going to a game in late December or early January where the team is 3-13. I don't know if that will be the case next year. I wanted to ask you, why did you do that, and would you do that again?
Why did I do that? Well, it was my son's one of my son's Christmas gifts that we had planned way far in advance. Would I do it again? If it was for my son, 100%. I wanted them to lose. Like, I know people don't want to hear that, but I wanted that draft pick.
I don't want to hear
But
that
it-
either.
But at the end of the day, I had the best time. My son was happy. We were cheering. Like, he didn't care. To see him happy and see the Giants actually win, it was fun. And hopefully that continues on into next year. And I think this is the first time in a while we have a good chance to do that.
Yeah, man. And we know with Harbaugh, I mean, there might be a package deal, with some of these guys. And change could be good, guys. We know that Malik Neighbors is expected to come back in July for the start of training camp. Cam Scadaboo somehow is expected to come back in April for the beginning of the mandatory offseason program. That's nuts. This guy's a freak.
That's youth, man.
He really is.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it looks good. Hopefully, Malik seems a little bit more hesitant to say he's going to be back in time, but Joe Shane is very optimistic he'll be back, and I think we're all hoping he's going to be back very soon.
Speaking of Shane, you hear the news that came out today that they expect to extend him after the NFL draft. What do we think of this? George, you were an advocate for Joe Shane to stay the last we spoke.
I was.
I was not. Why did you feel that way? And do you still feel that way?
So I think a lot of the moves he made were the right moves at the right time. And a lot of it was on the players themselves. They stopped their own development in a lot of cases. The defensive players, with the exception of Deonte Banks, I'm going to give a small pass to, because they look totally different under Wink Martindale. Under Wink, it seemed way more aggressive, way more fun, a little more crash and dash kind of football. Once they got out of that and went to that weak, safe zone looks and these fake stunts and stuff, those players, Tyler Nubin, and I will actually include Deonte Banks, he looked worse in it as well. Flott looked better, which was odd. It just didn't. You got to give him a little bit of a pass. These guys have no continuity in how they've been coached. All right, so this is a new start. I'll even have to give Deonte Banks a start if he's hanging around. I think Shane made some great moves. I think getting back into the first round for Dart was excellent. I think Abdul Carter is going to be a hell of a player. I think he just has to grow up a little bit, and I think he has. I think he had his little oh shit moment in the middle of this season, because the first 6-7 weeks of Abdul Carter was like, I was scratching my head like, oh my God, this is terrible. And then I actually saw some leadership towards the end, obviously some more defensive production. So those two moves I liked. He whiffed on Evan Neal 100%. Thibodeau, I wouldn't really say a whiff, but he probably should be a little better off than he is right now.
You know how I feel about him.
I like Theo Johnson. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. There's a lot of guys that I think he hit the nail on the head, and some of the moves, if you remember, he was trying to package up everything under the sun for Drake May. So he put a lot of effort into making these moves. He didn't just sit back willy-nilly and let the draft go by him. He's active. I just think, actually, while we're talking about Joe Shane, is he like a healthy man?
Why? Did he almost shit his pants when introducing John Harbaugh?
No, I don't know what that was. That looked like that looked like a panic attack.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Tom.
No, you go ahead, Nick.
I was just going to say, I don't know if it's true. Reports are saying he was, for some reason, running late to the meeting or to the press conference, and he had to sprint across the stadium to get to the area in order to perform. So what we were seeing was him going, I'm so excited. But it did look like a panic attack. I don't think he was having a panic. I don't think it was a panic attack.
I want to preface this about Joe Shane. Whether I like this or not, or agree with this is the reality. Joe Shane is a lot more respected within the NFL circle. This is a business at the end of the day, and these people working in the NFL circle think differently than the average fan. Joe Shane has an outstanding knowledge of the NFL. He knows almost every scout in the National Football League by name. However, he is not that CEO type of GM that he tried to be these last few years. That's why I think John Harbaugh was willing to take this job, because Shane is willing to change his role a little bit. It's not a demotion. That's not what it is. And a lot of people are calling it that. It is a different approach. A lot of teams run this. The Baltimore Ravens run it. And Eric DaCosta is highly regarded as a top 10 GM in the National Football League. Why is Baltimore in the mix every single year? I mean, you guys like the way they played against Philly back in week 6. Guess what? That's John Harbaugh's team every single week of the season. They are playing good football, whether they win or whether they lose. They are playing good games like 90% of the time. You want to get back to that? Let's get back to that. But personally, my eyes have opened up a little bit more to Joe Shane over these last few weeks. And George, I'm willing to admit that.
Thank you. am I the first person in your life you ever conceded to like that?
Well, here's the thing. I liked Joe Shane at the beginning. And then I didn't like Joe Shane. Because I'm not going to fault him on Evan Neal, because everyone thought Evan Neal was a home run pick, right? There were very few people that did not like Evan Neal coming out in 2022. 2022, they were strapped due to financial restrictions. That's why they had to trade back twice in the second round to get Wan'Dale, because they couldn't afford to pay a high-priced second-round pick due to the financial burden that Dave Gettleman put this team in the first place. 2023, awful draft. But at the end of the day, trading up for Jalen Hyatt was Brian Daboll's idea. I know Joe Shane made the pick, but Brian Daboll executed that trade, couldn't find a way to match him into the offense. That's on coaching. That's not on the GM at the end of the day. And you want to talk about Deonte Banks? Why did Wink Martindale leave?
Brian Daboll.
Not because of Joe Shane, because of Brian Daboll. Because of Brian Daboll. That's why Joe Shane, mid-2023, has to hop on the headsets in games, which no other GM does, except for maybe the Colts now with the Irsay daughters.
Yeah, that looks like she looks like the boss from hell.
She wears the pants in that relationship. Yes,
I know she scares the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Poor Danny Dimes can't just get a comfortable situation.
No.
Come on, guys.
It's like I've broken every bone in my body. I've torn everything.
I told you Jones was good. I told you Daniel Jones was a good quarterback.
With a good line and a top 5 at the time.
Sure.
Back.
Sure.
I mean, I think anyone makes Jonathan Taylor look good. Listen, you could ask my dad, obviously, if he ever chimes in. I hated Daniel Jones from the first second. Why?
He did.
Why?
Yes, why?
Because he plays football like a 6-year-old. He looks. If the pre-snap read is going to, let's say, Wan'Dale Robinson, from the second of the line of scrimmage to the ball being snapped, no matter what the formation is, his eyes stay on Wan'Dale Robinson. So unless you have a completely inept secondary, which the NFL doesn't have many of, these guys lock in, and at the very least, they're going to crush that player. And if they don't get a fumble or an interception, they're going to disrupt the play. Nothing ever looked clean with Jones, except for his RPO stuff in the beginning before he got hurt. When he was able to do the razzle-dazzle and the running up the field, that stuff was nice. But they figured that out, too. And the only thing I'll give Jones, though, he played with a horrible line his whole career.
What do you think?
He played with a horrible line first few years. He went through a few different offensive coordinators. So I defended him for a while. But the minute I saw him go out, he was injured again, and Tyrod Taylor came in and played much better, I gave up on Jones. Like, seems like a nice kid. I rooted for him, but he wasn't the answer, at least not for the New York Giants. The difference I see with a Jackson Dart is Jackson Dart can seemingly make players better, where Jones needs the tools around him to make himself better.
Yeah. You have a fan there, George?
Yeah, it's Dave. Dave Allard. He runs one of the NFC East pages on Facebook. What's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave? How you doing, man?
Shout out, Dave. Thank you for
big
watching.
Giants fan. Big, literally.
Oh, yeah?
And he's super tall. Yeah.
We
big
may have
Giants
to have him on one day.
Hey, if he's up for it, he can talk game. That's for sure. He can talk football.
Are all your other friends really, really tall? Every other
Most
friend
of them.
Yeah. You got Brian. Brian's 6'4", 6'5".
Joe's
What
up
you
there.
got? Joe. How tall's Joe?
He's a 7-footer, yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Dude, he
I'm the-
looks like The Undertaker.
I'm the smallest guy in any crowd.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then he goes,
and-
My friends.
you go pick a fight, right?
No, not at 40.
You're the smallest guy, George, because I'm pretty
in
sure
in a lot of football game settings, when we have our tailgate, I'm the shortest guy. Nick's
Danny
been there.
told me in school growing up you were class. Always.
Yeah, but then you stop growing.
There,
Yeah.
there you go. Shout out to John Unterweger saying hardball, great hire. My cousin from Oklahoma. Shout out to you, John. I'm sorry about your Sooners, man. That was a tough first round exit in the CFP. Sorry about that. Saying good luck. You know who we could get, George? Remember that Kevin Milan guy from the bike shop or whatever?
Yeah, he's a big Giants fan.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Should talk to him about Daniel Jones. I'm sure.
You know what, Tom? You keep making this point about Daniel Jones. Every single person that fought me on Daniel Jones at some point within the last like 3 years came up to me and was like, "Yeah, you're kind of right. He wasn't that great."
He wasn't that great for the Giants, though, right?
Yeah.
Look, Dart. I'll admit this. Dart has already passed the eye test. Jones never did. But one thing you cannot question is his mental toughness. That
Correct.
was second to none.
The thing about Jones is drafting him where they drafted him did not help him.
Correct.
No.
If they would have grabbed him in the second, third, or even as some people thought fourth round, he would have been, wow, we got a serviceable quarterback out of a late pick. But when you take him that high in the first, that's a different level of production that's expected of you, a la Evan Neal, Kayvon Thibodeau, early part of Abdul Carter, like Deontay Banks in the first round. Like all these guys, it changes the expectation. Like we essentially poured in a lot of equity to obtain that player. Do we agree?
Sure, but
19 is a bad example. It wasn't the best draft, but I mean,
Dexter,
No.
Julian Love, Slayton. I don't know.
and we had no money for Love. We had no money for McKinney. We let two good secondary homegrown guys basically
Sure, but
walk.
that falls on Joe Shane, right? I know you're an advocate for him, but again, these were reasons why I wanted Shane gone.
Well, what about the biggest elephant in the room? Barkley's gone. I mean, he'll never live that down.
Nick, did we get your official take on this topic, Joe Shane being extended? Did you ever give like are you kind of like with George on it, or are you more like me, open to it, or are you just like, no, this is a terrible idea?
I'm kind of right there in the middle, to be honest with you. I think he's done a lot of good things, but he's done a lot of bad things. His draft, but he also walked into shit too. People forget that. I think the biggest thing with Shane is a lot of fans and myself have trouble forgiving him for letting go of Saquon Barkley. I mean, we're still hurting for that. Barkley got the contract he wanted, and he clearly wanted out. And what happened? He should have been the MVP, and he got a Super Bowl the next season, and we let him go. So I think he's got that hanging over his head too, in my opinion. So I'm right there in the middle. I do think we need some continuity. So it's kind of good to keep him around, but I would have to think, I would hope there's kind of a short leash, or at least behind closed doors. He doesn't have as much power as he once had. I think Harbaugh's going to be running the show, and that's why that's why Mara's the direct line.
Let me ask you this then. Do you like Tracy and Scadaboo as our running back room right now?
I do. I think Tracy's very serviceable. I think Scadaboo, if he's healthy, is he's dominant. I mean, not only can he run the ball, he's got a lot of receiving yards too. A lot of catches. My biggest concern is longevity. Can he stay on the field?
Fair. The point I was trying to make by asking that is this. With Saquon Barkley, sure, there's a Tyrone Tracy, but there's no Cam Scadaboo right now. And Saquon's 28, 29. I thought the process was good at letting him go. The execution, though, it wasn't good. The way it was done was really, really bad. We saw it unfold on Hard Knocks. and it was not a good look. But there should have. My biggest gripe was giving him up for nothing, right? He gave up him for nothing. Xavier McKinney, we got like a comp pick for him. A lot of these prized all-pro talents, they just let walk for nothing. And I think that's where the argument falls against Shane more than, oh, they let this player go, or, oh, they let that player go.
And within that, like we gave it McKinney, and then we signed Holland for, I think we overpaid on Holland. He's good, but
well, that's admitting you fucked up on McKinney.
Right. That's what I mean. It almost seemed like it was desperation mode. And once again, we look at our cap space right now, and I know there's going to be restructures. There's going to be guys who are getting traded, whatever, released. But right now, we don't have that much money to work with. Tom, do you know the exact number right now? It's not much.
It changes every week.
No, I get that. It will get better, but I'm just saying, like,
I think the biggest travesty was you went from 3 years, $28 million for an all-pro talent running back being too much money, and then you give 3 years, 36 to a 700-yard a year at best receiver, who I get it is a good locker room guy, but always had drop problems. And I like Darius Slayton. Don't get me wrong. If he's your third or fourth best guy, you got a pretty good receiving core. But that was nuts to me. Like, 3 years, 28, you can't even budge on the guy. And he goes to your rival, and Slayton gets, I think it was 3 years, $36 million on that deal. And they're going to be on the hook for that. There's no way they want to pay that the whole length of the contract, especially if they draft another receiver.
You guys want to know the number? We're at 1.8 million free right now. So moves are coming. Moves are coming. And before we could really dissect those potential moves, we have to talk about who will be assembled on the coaching staff to help John Harbaugh and Joe Schoen make these moves. And obviously we know the next domino to fall is probably the offensive coordinator on this coaching staff, at which I'm sure Joe Schoen will also have a hand in helping John Harbaugh choose and give his take on that. And right now, with Todd Monken pulling himself out of the Browns head coaching discussion, he has emerged as the favorite for this role, a guy who was the OC under John Harbaugh for a few years and highly respected individual among the league who helped develop two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Can't go wrong with that, no? I mean, he's 59, so yes, he's on the older side, but let's look at it this way. He's probably not going anywhere. You know, like, you might have him for a while where it's one of these young guys who just get poached every year, right? Like, I mean, personally, I would like this option. This is my number one option. George?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, let's not go crazy. The Ravens have not been world beaters the last 3 years. They've had their issues with Lamar. They had a few issues with Derrick Henry off and on. They had some schematic issues. Obviously, Lamar was injured for a little bit, but I mean, they got rid of Harbaugh for a reason, right? They were stuck where they were. They hit their ceiling, right? Similarly to the Bills, correct? So it always drives me nuts because I would love for a playoff coach, right? Like, that's my dream. These two teams had one pretty much annually, and they got walking papers because they're not meeting expectations, right? So I'm fine with Todd Monken being the OC. Obviously, you know that Harbaugh's going to have some influence with guys he has some networking with already. I mean, we already know that from our little mini Bills experiment with the Giants. As long as that doesn't get too heavy where every single person back there holding the clipboard is from the Ravens, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, no, I agree. I personally like the idea of Todd Monken coming in too. He's known for developing young quarterbacks, and we have one. He developed Lamar, obviously in Baltimore. He's got Baker Mayfield with Baker Mayfield's tenure in Cleveland. And he's going to be familiar. I think him and Harbaugh are going to be on the same wavelength. They're going to be on the same path. They They know what they want. They know what to expect from each other. And I do agree with you, though, George. I don't want this to become the Baltimore Raven New York Giants. I think there needs to be some differences. I personally would like to see Kafka have some sort of role still. A lot of guys, he kind of got shit on, but I think he did a pretty good job for the situation he was put into at the end of the season.
You mean Caillou?
Caillou.
Yeah. I'll never let you live that down, George.
That is all I see.
That was more Nick than me.
That was 100.
That was all. That was all you. Nice.
Yeah, I'm taking credit for that. That was me.
Yeah.
No, Kafka did fine. I mean, listen, he inherited a complete shit show. It's got to be hard to go from being a play caller that every other week Dable's taking your play calling abilities away. Now all of a sudden the whole team is under your umbrella, and he had to fire guys. They made him fire guys 2 weeks into his job, basically. Like, those conversations took place that early. Like, so he I think it was a good learning curve for him. He's a smart guy. He's going to be in the league. He's going to be an OC somewhere, and he might have another shot down the road, hopefully with a better starting point.
Yeah, better situation.
Yeah. Anybody else you guys like for this role? I mean, there's Tommy Reese, Cliff Kingsbury, Mike McDaniel's off the board, obviously. Davis Webb is out there, Broncos QB coach.
I'm not against Mike McDaniel, obviously, but I know he's not an option anymore. But I think offensively, as an OC, he was pretty good. I think his failures came from running a locker room, straightening out that he was too loose in that regard. But as far as a guy drawing up plays, he was a whiz.
Hot take. We talked about this, and you know what's coming, George. Nick, you might know what's coming too. There's one name on this list that we have not discussed yet, and I know this person is likely to take another job as an OC. But there's one guy who they're not going to hire him as an OC, but that they should consider for this role. Brian Daboll.
Oh, no.
Brian Daboll should be in consideration for the OC position, George, and you know it. That connection with Jackson Dart is massive. I mean, sure, he's not a head coach, especially for the Giants. He did a bad job. I understand that. But before you rip me to pieces on this, I want to say this. Brian Daboll is a big reason why we have Jackson Dart. And his relationship with Jackson Dart, if he could focus on just Jackson Dart and the offense, I think there could be some success. You're shaking your head. So you're totally going to shoot this down, huh? Totally going to shoot this down.
1,000%. And I'll tell
Let's
you
hear
why.
it.
Every time Brian Daboll got into a jam, instead of coming out and saying, hey, I put you in a jam, he basically got somebody else fired.
He'd be an OC, though.
So
look what he did at Buffalo.
Huh?
Look what he did at Buffalo with Josh Allen.
What did they win? Anything?
They made a couple AFC championship games. It's more than we've won.
Still, what I don't contribute what coaches add to it until they have proof of winning. And you're starting to see that more from the NFL top down. They don't give a shit if you can go 2 games into the playoffs anymore. Eventually you got to win. All right. So, but beyond that, I'm not even talking about he was successful in Alabama. He was successful in New England. I'm not knocking his ability. I'm knocking a personality trait of he always passes the buck and that other dude gets fired. His problem was he did it so many times in a short span. Eventually they run out of people to fire or to look at. Am I wrong?
No, but that's him as a head coach.
Yeah, but there's players that are in that locker room who know exactly how he was as a head coach, and I think there's a lot of players who are happy to see him gone. Sure. I mean, obviously, I'm not there, but even though they didn't play great at the end of the season, once he was gone, it seemed like a different team. They seemed happier. They seemed more structured, even. I think Daboll is a great offensive mind. I just don't think he needs to be in that same room with the same players he was just with in a different position.
That's fine.
Tom,
I mean,
Tom, he threw the clipboard at your boy. He threw the tablet at your boy.
I know.
Well, he did throw.
He
a
ran
pick.
in.
Look.
He ran into the blue tent like an imbecile. I've never seen that before. I mean, you want to talk about a guy hitting the oh shit button because he has Russell Wilson under center. He's like, how many more snaps do we need Russell Wilson?
George, you have a Russell Wilson jersey in your house. You thought he was going to be good. Did you not?
All right, guys, it's been fun. Oh, you want me to throw the garbage out? Yeah, I'll be right up.
Are you gonna put the Wilson jersey in there? In that
Where is it,
said
George?
garbage?
All right, so you want to hear a really funny story, real quick, a segue. I love my wife more than anybody. Okay,
Is this DeVito?
it's both.
Okay.
So every time she asks what I want for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, if you could look around my basement, it's pretty simple. Giant stuff, right? So she gets me the first year. This is right after DeVito's 4-game run, right? She buys me a Tommy DeVito jersey. I get it Christmas morning or the day before. Sorry, Christmas Eve. We all know what happened to Tommy DeVito on the Christmas game that year, correct?
You got benched.
He got benched while I'm wearing his jersey that my wife just paid money for. She goes, "What happened to DeVito?" I said,
Yeah, but it was like she stepped away for 30 seconds
right.
and came back, and he was no longer with us.
He goes, "What happened to DeVito?" And I go, "They just benched him." And she goes, "Are you kidding?" I think she said, "Are you effing kidding me?" And I said, "No, I'm not." So that was the DeVito jersey. And then in the preseason, she got me a Russell Wilson jersey. And I was kind of excited. I thought Russell can fumble through a year. He could patch us through 1 year. I didn't think the dart progression was going to go so quick. And then within a few weeks of this season, he was also not only benched, but then put into emergency status. So but then she made up for it this Christmas. I got an Eli Manning jersey from her. Eli's not getting benched. We're good.
Do you let her sleep in the bed again? She doesn't have to sleep on the couch now? She's redeemed herself?
100%.
Okay.
Nick,
Thank
I'm going
goodness.
to add to the story. I did the same thing that year on Christmas in 2023 for my brother Danny. And the same thing happened. We're driving down to Florida the next day. And, I told him, "Did you watch the game?" No, got to go to sleep. Got to get out at 4 a.m. I'm like, "You hear what happened?" Nah. DeVito got benched. He's like, "Yeah, bench this." And he threatens to throw me out of the car. So spent all that money as well. Yep. That was a fun time.
Let's have a toast to Tommy.
Toast to Tommy.
Toast to Tommy. With that being said, Tommy is 2 games away from having a Super Bowl ring.
Yeah, Kadarius Toney has 2 also. Anything else you want to?
He'll be in the Super Bowl, Tommy DeVito. TD 15.
He should be.
15. What a 100th season it was. But we're on to bigger and better things. And what's up, Kevin?
What's up,
Thank
Kevin?
you
How
for the
doing?
comment. He likes the hire. I believe he will bring a winning culture in our locker room. I hope so. I mean, I think he will, but we'll see the extent of it. I mean, it all depends on who he hires as his coordinators, too. We talked about OC. Let's talk about DC a little bit. Now we kind of all agreed Monken should be the guy. Who out of the DC candidates do you think is the front runner? I mean, I could start and tell you that Anthony Weaver is probably the front runner, and I don't like that at all. Dolphins DC in 2024 and 2025, former Ravens DC. He's considered a great motivator. But if you look at Miami's defense, they fell apart against Pittsburgh on Monday Night Football with a few weeks to go in the season, and then they never recovered. They couldn't get to the quarterback this year. So personally, I would not like the hire of Anthony Weaver. George, any?
My candidate is a 1,000% dark horse, but I love the guy. You should probably know where I'm going with this.
I do.
AP, Antonio Pierce, bring back the 4-3. Let's start cracking heads behind the line of scrimmage. Love it. That's who I want. Probably not going to happen. I hope he's maybe in the building in some capacity on defense, and then maybe can work his way into that role. That's my vote, Antonio Pierce. I know he didn't have a good coaching experience with Oakland, but I mean, I think it would fit in perfect. He loved playing here. He loves smash mouth defense, which, if you look at all 4 championship teams this organization has had in 101 years, all 4 of them had the same formula on defense. He was a part of one of them. So
That is who I want too, by the way, is
wow.
AP. And the reason why, remember that play he blew up in the NFC Championship game against Green Bay, that 3rd and long screen where if he doesn't make that tackle, they're likely scoring a touchdown? I'll forever remember him for that. And the attitude that he brings to the game, I think he will bring to coaching as well, specifically a defense. I mean, he's currently an analyst at CBS Sports. They interviewed him for the head coaching gig, and I thought he did a good job. You know, obviously he wasn't the number 1 option, but I don't think he's a head coach. I think he would be an awesome defensive coordinator, and that's who I want as the hire for the Giants. Nick, any ideas in mind? Are you open to Antonio Pierce?
I want Antonio Pierce too. I don't see it happening. I think it's going to be Weaver. However, a fun one that we keep hearing is Rex Ryan. What do you think that would look like? I don't know how I feel about it, but it keeps coming up. It's a topic of discussion.
I mean, the 4-3 is definitely in his DNA.
Yeah, he's known for blitz packages, you know, pre-snap confusion. There's a lot of fun with Rex Ryan. He's a big personality. Him and Harbaugh have worked together before.
I was just about to say, who got Rex Ryan his first head coaching job? John Harbaugh.
Exactly. So I don't see it happening, but I think that would be an interesting one. Great defensive mind, not a great head coach, not a bad head coach either. But how would I think the most interesting thing there would be how they would clash personality-wise.
We got a couple more comments, not on the stream feed, but on the post. Amia Andrade checking in, saying hello, and my fiance Deanna Karen saying awesome with the blue heart and the football emoji. Shout out to Deanna.
Sorry, we're corrupting your soon-to-be husband.
Oh yeah, trying to sleep. I'm trying to record. There you go. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. How about Jim Leonard? Dark horse name. Played for John Harbaugh a little bit. He is currently the Broncos' assistant head coach. He is a potential lead candidate. I wouldn't mind him. One other guy too. If for some reason he does not get the Browns head coaching job, Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator, former head coach for the Lions. He coached that 0-16 team in Detroit back in 2008, if you remember that. But the Browns won some games this year that they shouldn't have won, and a lot of their losses were close losses, guys. I mean, Myles Garrett just set the sack record. That defense was really, really. Schwartz will be retained as a DC if they don't promote him to head coach.
No, I'd be fine with that also. I mean, at the end of the day, I think there's a few more dominoes that have to fall anyway. We still have 2 sets of teams getting eliminated this coming weekend, and then we're going to obviously have the Super Bowl. Usually someone moves on from a Super Bowl win and then gets put into different positions. So I think there's still some more coaching carousel movements to happen on the coordinator side, but I'm still going AP. That's who I want. Even if he has to grow into the role for a year or two, like, I'm fine with that. Like, as long as we move forward, I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, they're already making moves.
Harbaugh does not call any offense or defense, by the way, either. So these picks are pretty important.
Pretty important.
So he's
Special
literally
teams.
He's a manager in special teams. So he's not going to take the headset away. He's not going to do this. Like, it's literally going to be on those 2 guys' shoulders. So that's part to think of as well.
What about these guys? Big Carm, does he stay? does he go?
He's done everything under his power to stay. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the line was arguably the best improvement this team had. I mean, that line was leaps and bounds better, and they played in quite a few different configurations too, and they were fine. It's very serviceable. So, Charlie Bullen, I think the defense kind of woke up with him, especially after the disaster before him. I don't know if that was a testament to them playing for him personally or it was what he was adding to the table. But I'm fine with Charlie Bullen. I don't think he's going to be a defensive coordinator. If he stays in the realm of an individual group coach, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Bullen's definitely earned a spot to stay. I don't think it's necessarily the defensive coordinator spot, but I think he deserves the right to stay. And the offensive line, as far as Carmen goes, has looked not that it's saying a lot, has looked as good as it's looked in a long time.
You got Andrew Thomas, cornerstone left tackle, all pro level. John Runyon looked a lot better this year. JMS looked better. No? You don't think so, George?
He's getting replaced by a former Raven. Keep going.
Hold on. Okay.
He is.
Greg Van Roten, who still produces at 35, 36 years old, and Jermaine Illuminor, who is one of the best right tackles in the NFC, who's up for a contract. But, yeah. What are you going to say, George? I already know what you're thinking. Who is coming to the Giants, and do you really think they're going to have the money to pay him?
No, they're not, and that's another problem I was going to bring up even before when you brought up Jermaine Illuminor. This team, in a weird way, they have to focus on saving money for the future because Malik Neighbors is going to be expensive if you want to keep him. Cam Scadaboo is going to be expensive if he plays the way he did and you want to keep him. Jackson Dart is going to be super expensive if you want to keep him. If Abdul Carter plays well, he's going to be super expensive. All these guys are going to come down within 22 months of each other. Unless they go the Victor Cruz route where they lock them in early on the rookie deal and hopefully get them on a little bit of a discount to keep them on the team. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a huge John Michael Schmitz fan. He's not the worst center we could have, but I think there's better options out there. I'd give him a little bit through camp, see how it goes, but something tells me Harbaugh is going to bring in some players who are out of contract over in Baltimore, guys that he keeps close to the ear, guys he trusts. And I think that's going to even tight end. I think the tight end position might get altered as well. You're going to see guys like Manhurst, Bellinger, maybe not need their services much longer.
Yeah. I mean, you tell me, George, you're not a fan of John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt?
He's all right. He's all right.
Well, look, Linderbaum is a Pro Bowler, right? If you sign him, you could also just move JMS the guard. He's under contract for another year. Wouldn't that be an option? You could cut John Runyon, right? You save you some money. I'm not opposed to that idea.
Well, I'm pretty sure Burns is going to have to they're going to have to restructure Burns anyway, right? Just out of principle.
They'll just extend him to even out the money a little more.
But I'm telling you, within 3, 4, 5 years, they're going to have a very expensive outgoing of money if they want to retain this core, if they do well together.
What do you think, Nick?
No, I agree with George. It's kind of the double-edged sword. You got a young team that is seemingly filled with a lot of talent, but like he said, you're going to have to pay him in a few years. And right, how do you do that? How do you pay a Scadaboo who becomes the star we think he's going to be? Same with Jackson Dart. Same with we've got a very young, talented team. Malik Neighbors, all these guys. I think everything George said, he hit the nail right on the head because, I mean, this isn't Madden. We can't shut the salary cap off and just wing it. It's the reality of the sport, and we lose players all the time, especially in New York with the tax hits to other markets, Miami, wherever. And yeah, right now Cam Scadaboo wants to be here. but money talks, and we've seen that time and time again.
I quickly want to shout out Two Giant Goofballs saying, "What's up, everybody?" The name threw me for a loop. Yeah, new show, new name, guys. Shout out to Drew and Rob. Definitely good guys over there at Two Giant Goofballs. Go check them out. They do some good work over there. And yeah, you know, this is a new show, guys, debut show. So definitely appreciate the support. And your boy, George, you know what saves money?
He's not clapping for me, I guess.
Well,
you can take that either way.
You want to win football games? You want to get the right guys in the locker room? Why would you pass on a Pro Bowl center if you have the opportunity to do so? They could cut John Runyon. They could cut Graham Gano. I'm not saying they should.
You think, Tom? You think they should cut Graham Gano? What a hot take that is.
I'm not saying they should do this. Let's just say the new DC gets hired and they say, you know what? Okereke, you're not the best fit for this new defense. They could save $9 million. $9 million. You could extend Burns. There's options, guys. I'm not saying they should take all these options that I'm saying. I don't think all of them are great ideas. There's a lot of options they could do right now. And I want to point out something Goofballs just said. 3-time Pro Bowler. He's played 4 years. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. You want to change the culture? You want to set the tone? You want to play physical football and score touchdowns? How about you win the line of scrimmage first? How about you win the line of scrimmage? Look how, not to go off on college, number 10 Miami made the national championship game. You know why? Because they kept opposing offenses off the field. They control the line of scrimmage. JMS, as they just mentioned, and I did know this, by the way, but I do appreciate this. I will shout you guys out. That's a clever comment. Played guard in high school. Played guard at the Senior Bowl, too. Why not make the adjustment, guys? Why not?
I wasn't even talking from a financial aspect. I just know this guy's going to bring certain trusted veterans in to help change what he's going to do. Because right now, this team, 100%, what he just said is 100% correct. Illuminor needs to be retained. You have to get that, hopefully a healthy Andrew Thomas and Illuminor, and then you have a lot more availability on the inside, in my opinion. But
and then draft somebody at right tackle.
Correct.
Like a Maui Goa.
100%.
Like that Maui Goa kid from Miami?
But like I said, I wouldn't be shocked either if that's one of the guys Harbaugh brings in to install this new product.
Well, Jermaine Illuminor was once a Baltimore Raven, by the way. Fun fact. Might work. He might have been drafted by them, actually. I have to look into that. Appreciate the comments, guys. It's been awesome so far. But yeah, what else, George? What else have these guys done? Finally making moves. Finally. Abrams is out the door. Gone.
These guys should have all been out the door the second people were putting their own blue-collar money into flying a plane over the Meadowlands, expressing their disgust. The Giants are loyal to a flaw, not to steal your quote, Nick, but they're loyal to a flaw. They keep on to people way too long, and then you have to have these moments like this where we abruptly get rid of them.
Sorry, guys. I live in the city. Motorcycle. It's funny because my old co-host Sam, hope you're doing well, Sam, by the way. Now she's working for USA Today. Always used to comment, Tom, every single show that you do, a motorcycle drives by at least once. At least once. Shout out Rich Batista in the comments section.
Who the hell's driving a motorcycle in January?
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, how cold is it really in the city right now? It's not that cold. Do you get a lot of motorcycle traffic this time of year?
Yeah, we got Yeah, we got a lot of Greeks down here, and they like to. You might know something about that, George. Yeah, they like to ride those at night. So
Really?
yeah,
No.
yeah, they have motorcycle gangs down here.
Oh, it's a gang. That's the correlation. I
Oh
was trying
yeah,
to.
that's
I was trying to.
okay. All right. And how about this? We're getting a new head trainer. I mean, they're going to be making upgrades to the equipment, like the trainers, you know? Yeah.
All this
Hey,
shit's
hey.
like 40 years behind.
Yeah, once again, loyal to a flaw. I mean, we've had players with numerous injuries. Like, we seem like the only team that ever gets hurt. At least their stars are the only team that ever gets hurt. People can blame the field, but it's not just the field. It's the training. It's everything. And this is what I like about Harbaugh. He seems to be coming in and he's like, what the fuck have we been doing? It's time for a change. If you guys want to win, it's not only a culture thing, it's a regime change. Let's get rid of the people and let's start over. Let's start from scratch because what we've been doing is not working. And so, like I said, to reiterate what we started with, I'm excited for John Harbaugh.
I'm excited for John. I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for the off season. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I mean, I feel like we've kind of hit on a lot of good stuff. No, I mean, we talked about Harbaugh, OCDC. Anything else that we might have missed? Any questions you folks in the comment section have that you want us to address? I think we have a surprise, George. Is that the Macarena?
No. We have a surprise?
Do we?
Next Wednesday.
What's happening next Wednesday?
That's right.
Oh, shit. What's happening next Wednesday?
George, the floor is yours.
So, we have our first guest. Second show, first guest. Took a lot of work. We wrapped it up today. How do I do this? I'm going to geek out, all right? One of my favorite players in New York Giants history, all right? Two-time Super Bowl champion, member of the Big Blue Wrecking Crew, one of the baddest MFers ever to play the game, Giants Ring of Honor member, Leonard Marshall, right here next week, hanging out with us, talking everything you want to hear, all about the career, the locker room, the plays behind the play, the stuff, the X's and O's. We're going to bust balls. We're going to have some fun. I cannot wait. One of my favorite, easily one of my top five players all time. Super underrated, kind of fell in the shadows of Harry Carson, Carl Banks, and Lawrence Taylor. Manhandled offensive lines. I mean, we're going to get into it, obviously. But locked in today, next week, Wednesday, the 28th of January, 8 p.m., Leonard Marshall, right there next to him. Unfortunately, he has to sit next to Nick, but...
Well, if we put him next to you, you might do weird things to him. Look at you. Look how excited you are. We're all very excited.
Second show.
Yeah, I heard you spoke to him today for like 25 minutes, too. Is that true or is that fake?
No, that's real.
Wow.
Yeah.
Moving up in the world.
So the beginning of the phone call, this is one thing I'm going to say about Leonard Marshall. He's so down to earth when you talk to him. In the beginning, I'm like, hi. I'm just like, hi. Oh my God, it's really, in my head, that's what I'm thinking. And he just brings you down to earth and you're talking football and all that great stuff. So I cannot wait. I'm sure you feel the same. We're going to have him for a whole hour. So we'll have to do our homework and have some fun.
Wow. That's groundbreaking news. Me trying to pretend like I didn't know before just now. Folks, we've got a massive treat for you next week. I mean, the name of our show is 1925 for a reason, right? I mean, targeting a legend from the past. We're show number 2. You better get your popcorn out. You better get your questions ready because this is going to be a fun show. And with you guys too. I think we've done a good job so far tonight. You guys, we're all getting our feet wet a little bit. So I think everybody has done just fine. Any final thoughts, guys? Anything we want to add?
I don't know if I could beat that.
No?
No, man.
Mic drop?
We're out. No, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for listening if you did. And yeah, tune in next week, Wednesday the 28th, for Leonard Marshall at 8 p.m.
Oh, one thing I'll say, on our
Sorry.
Instagram specifically, and on Facebook, we're going to promote the shit out of this because we want a lot of viewership. I would love to see a bunch of questions from the audience. Leonard was open to that. He's fine. We talked over everything. He's good to go. He's done this kind of show before. Nothing new to him. So get those shares, likes, comments once we get the advertising out, and then we'll see you next week.
Cheers to that. Cheers, guys.
Okay. Cheers. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, man.